Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. My apologies again for the lateness. Again, more technical difficulties. It has a very tough time streaming from here in Ohio. We have very few problems elsewhere, but here, very difficult. If you saw the technical and all the swear words that I was doing a minute ago, you would have been surprised. I'm a different person. So we're doing this series on the race cars. And I want to get you guys a little deeper dive into this one. This is the 1987 Toyota MR2. Affectionately refer to it as the MR6. And this is a group project. And this started 5 years ago, 6 years ago. We've been racing it for a few years. And it started as a group project. And the goal was to build a car that we could race lemons in, and that we could also race in SCCA and NASA. We could also race in the vintage series, SVRA or HSR, which is historic series racing. So the difficulty in making this is to make it acceptable for all of those different series. What's kind of funny is the safety specs for lemons are much stricter than any of the other series. Lemons is very, very strict with their roll cage stuff, their fire suppression stuff. All of their safety stuff is very, very, very strict. They will send you home if your stuff isn't right. So we've gone from their rule book, and then we look at NASA and SCCA, and now, okay, yep, we passed the cage, we passed the fire suppression, no problem. And we're actually spec'd to do this car in a whole bunch of different series, which is great. The other thing we wanted to do was to build a car that someone who's never raced before could actually race. And you don't want to build 1,000 horsepower monster and put your friend who's only driven a Kia Soul in it. That's not a good idea. So this one we had to keep sort of tame so that people who want to get into racing could get into racing a lot easier with this versus a Koenigsegg. That would have been a little bit of a stretch. So um, we made it. The difficult part is this is mid-engine and rear drive, so it drives a little bit different than like a Miata, which is front engine rear drive, or 911, which is rear engine rear drive. So it takes a little bit of practice to get used to the weight balance and where everything is. But we've had a bunch of rookies in this car over the years, and they've all loved it. So I think we built a really, really nice car. The people that have helped me build this car, I could stand here for an hour and list off names. There's probably 50, maybe 60 people that have actually had a hand in building this, whether it's cutting the roof off the red car, or putting an axle in, or bleeding brake lines. It doesn't matter. There's been a ton of people that have helped me build this car, and thank you to everyone who has. If you're watching this, I appreciate you, and I'm grateful that you guys have come to the shop, helped me plasma cut a roof off, and plasma cut a car in half, and put an engine together, put another engine together, put another engine together. Everyone who's helped out with this car has been great, and we have a great time with it. The other hard part, very difficult part, was to keep this street legal, because trailering a car is kind of a pain in the ass. Although we do trailer this everywhere to the races, um, I wanted it to be street legal so that we could, if we wanted to, we could drive it to Mid Ohio, or we could drive it to pit race. We didn't necessarily have to trailer it. Or if someone had an autocross event, they didn't have to trailer it to the autocross event, and they could just check out the car and they could go. So that was the other very difficult part with this car, was keeping it all street legal. And it's street legal. Just don't get pulled over in it. So um, it's a 1987, so there's a bunch of safety stuff that's not really required. Airbags are not required. You do have to have seat belts, and they have to be self-adjusting. And what I always want to tell the trooper is self. adjusting. And they're like, no, 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 it has to come from somewhere else. So anyway, and in actuality, driving on highways with a harness on is probably not the smartest. It's extremely safe at the track, but you're all going in one direction, and usually you don't have people coming the other way. When you're driving on the streets, you have people coming the other way, and that's why they have the self-adjusting inertia reel belts and airbags and stuff like that. So that's why they're doing it, and that's fine. But this car is incredibly safe. We have a full cage in it, so um, you do get a little inspiration from that. Um, yeah, this has been just an absolutely amazing project. So I'll kind of describe how this car came to, because this car is actually three cars in one. So this is a currently, as it's titled, it's a 1987 Toyota MR2, and we affectionately refer to it as the MR6 because we have a Camry V6 engine in it. And I'll get to that. We'll cruise back and look at the engine in a minute. The car started off, it was a red car that was actually an 86. And we put the roll cage in that car and got it back from a roll cage guy in Akron who did an absolutely immaculate job on the roll cage. I also paid a lot of money for that roll cage. It was very expensive, but it was worth it. He did a great job. He did exactly what we needed. Did some extras too, some gussets that were, I mean, guy does great work. And that's why everyone goes to him. So got the car back, and when we put the engine in, we realized that the frame on the red car was actually going to fold where the roll cage, between the roll cage and the engine, it was just going to canoe it. So the red car got scrapped, and I found this car from a guy named Sean at Cars and Coffee here in Columbus, and he was selling the car. He just wanted to get rid of it. He'd had it for a couple of years. It was an automatic, and it had a broken, it had a big dent right here in the front impact bar. There was a dent in the hood. The windshield was broken. There was a big smack right here. And then there was a huge dent up on top of the roof edge right here. The story was that the car had hit a mailbox, and my reply was, the mailbox for the whole condo complex or just one section? You had to hit a huge mailbox. It was a huge dent in the front, and for it to go up and hit the windshield and the top edge of the roof, it was a serious, serious impact. So we had this awesome roll cage in this red car. We had a bunch of spare parts that were usable from the red car, but we had a white car that was an automatic. So I bought this car for $151 from Sean, and the engine was barely running. It was not a very happy car. So that engine came out. We took the 4AGE, the original one from the red car, put it in this car. We moved the transaxle over, added a clutch and slave cylinder, master cylinder, all that stuff for the clutch. Did a ton of work to make this a manual car. And the fun part was, so I'll show you this. Since the roof was messed up on the white car, we actually cut the roof off of the red car, and we cut it down here. You can still see some of the weld down here. We cut it right here, and we cut it back here. And we did that on both sides and lifted the roof off, and then took the roll cage out of the red car. We just cut the mounts and then cleaned up all the mounts on the roll cage. And so we now have the roof off the white car. We just matched the lines up from the red car and cut the roof off the white car, put the roll cage in the white car, and then put the roof from the red car onto the white car. How's that? We also took the doors from the red car because they were cut out for the roll cage. Roll cage guy cut the doors out for us. So the doors are from the red car. This fender is actually from a different white car. The hood is from the red car, white car, white car. This is from the red car. The rear quarters are from the white car. The engine cover is from the white car. The deck lid and spoiler are actually from a different white car than this. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of parts in here that are from different cars. So that's why it's from three. probably 4 different cars total, maybe 5. But doing that, we gave us a very nice strong chassis. The underside of this is virtually corrosion free, so it was kept in very good shape. Welding onto this chassis was actually very easy. It was super clean. The hardest part is getting rid of that factory sound deadening. God, that stuff is really hard to get out. We use a vibrating tool, and and it actually just takes that stuff right out, and then paint everything with truck bed liner in the interior, and it all works out really nice. Um, the Once we got it together, we had the 4AGE, which is it is a great engine, and they use it in Formula Atlantic, and those engines are very, very expensive. Those are very custom built engines. They're 20, $30,000. Our 4AG was not like that, and we had a couple of guys here who had never worked on engines before, never done a rebuild, anything like that. So our first engine, these guys were learning how to do stuff. We built this great engine, and it decided to eat itself. So got another 4AGE. I don't remember where we got it from. I think we found it local, or it was very close by, and I did a complete rebuild on that, and took that car to South Carolina and drove it maybe 25, 30 miles on a brand new engine, and it decided to eat itself. So now we're down to 4AGEs, and we haven't even turned a lap in this car yet, which sucked. And South Carolina, I'll tell the South Carolina trip. It was a terror. It was 36 hours. It was just awful. We lost the engine in the car. We lost the transmission in the tow rig, and one of our guys lost an appendix. So yeah, it was a terrible 36 hours. So when we got back, I said, screw that. We're done with the 4AGE. I've seen guys who do 1MZ swaps, and the 1MZ is a Toyota engine, so we're sticking with Toyota brand, and they're from the Camry and the Solara, which are very popular vehicles. They're everywhere, and you can go to a scrapyard and you can pick one up for a couple $100 with 150, 200,000 miles on it. Rebuild it, get it all nice and clean, all new components, and you can run it again. They're not terribly expensive. They're all over the place. The hardest part was getting it mounted in the car without cutting firewalls, because that's part of the rules. But also, we needed to make sure we had the axles not only at the right height, but also at the right angle, so that if they were at too steep of an angle, the CV joints would eat themselves. And then if they were at too straight of an angle, the axles weren't working. The original axles that we had, we ran those axles and it was great, but the CV joints blew up at Gingerman. The fun part was Ralph Shields blew up our CV joints, so that was cool. Nothing like having a CEO, or sorry, an executive from Stellantis blow up the axles in your car and kill your weekend. It was fun. Ralph's a very, very good friend, and I'm glad he had fun with us. Hopefully, he comes back and races with us. The guy's busier than ever, so it'd be great to see him again and see him in the car. So after that race, I had custom axles made. They were about $1,000, and a company called Mosier in Indiana, they did them for me. They're just over the border, and they were super fast. Less than a week, we have 4 axles for this, and we have 2 in the car and 2 spares, so we can swap. I don't want to be good at swapping out axles, but I can do an axle in this car in less than 2 minutes. So actually, I'm pretty damn good at it. And the axles are rated for 700 horsepower. Like I said, Mosier doesn't screw around. They build dragster axles and dump trucks and tractor pull axles. The axles that I picked up were probably some of the smallest ones that they had in their whole facility, but they did them. They were absolutely beautiful. They're still beautiful. They're awesome axles. I'm very happy with them. They're about the same weight as the others, but they're much beefier, and they can handle whatever we throw at it. We did get new CV joints from a company called Fabest, and they're a German company, and they provide enough clearance for us, left to right, and enough angle for our setup. And that was about it. So now we have our axle solved, we have our engine solved. And by the way, the guys who did the engine mounts, all four of them, Chris and Joey and another guy, they did an incredible job at those engine mounts. We were in an accident last season, and the car got hit really hard, 55, 60 miles an hour in the back corner. And those engine mounts that those guys built, perfect. Stayed absolutely dead on. The OEM engine mount at the front of the car, that one broke. So that tells you how good of a job these guys did. We had that car in here. We had lasers up there. We had lasers up on top of the toolbox, and we were trying to get the right, X, Y, and Z axis, make sure everything is perfect, and then tack weld it in. And then those guys went over to the bench and they welded up these awesome mounts. So thank you very much, Chris and Joey, and that other guy. You guys did a great job, and it also makes it very easy to swap engines out. Those mounts, they provide clearance, so I can literally lower the car onto the engine, mount those bolts up, plumbing, wiring, we're ready to go again. They make it very, very easy to get engines in and out. That was one of the things that we thought about when we were originally doing this. Also, clocking that engine, it got it perfect where the transaxle is sending almost, I think we have 10 degrees of angle on each of the um, uh, axles. So works out pretty good. Definitely puts power down. We also redid the rubber inside. We use urethane now in those mounts. So we have the original rubber plus we packed in urethane. So kind of like the Neon when I was talking about, we put those urethane inserts. There's a lot less torquing and you put a lot more power down. It's a little bit harder on the engine, and we need to remember when we're driving it that a 1MZ is a commuter car engine. It is not a Hayabusa engine. You can't rev it to 16 grand. 6,500 is where it goes. So let's see who just popped on. Oh, hey, Liz. So the 1MZ is a commuter car engine. The good part is it's actually 28 pounds lighter than the 4AGE, which is a cast iron block. Who's messaging me? Oh, Katie's messaging me. And so we actually saved a little bit of weight, but we gained more than 100 horsepower. So the original 4AGE was about 120 horsepower. Our 1MZ that's in here is 240 horsepower. So we have a lot more power. We're also using the Camry transaxle, the E53. It's S53 or E53. I can't remember the exact transmission name. We use a stock clutch that's made by Exidi, and it's a really, really robust, stout setup. And we've had some issues with money shifts and over revving the engine. But other than that, the 1MZ has been great. The car runs at 180 degrees, sitting still with both fans. When we're on track, about 190. We have great oil pressure, great oil temperatures. We did upgrade the oil cooler. The oil cooler that came stock on this, kind of basic. There's way better stuff out there. We got a much bigger oil cooler, and it holds an extra 2 quarts of oil, and it works really, really well at keeping oil temps down. We have it tucked up out of the way so it doesn't get smacked with track debris. And what else? I think that's about it. The car is fantastic to drive. It is not super comfortable. You're not doing a huge road trip on it, but when you're at the track, it's a ton of fun to drive. A ton of fun. Um, it is a 5-speed, so we're topping out. I think we top out at about 140. At Road Atlanta in the dry, we were somewhere near 125, 128, but it was really cold out, so we were kind of being a little bit careful at Road Atlanta. We had a tough enough time in the wet at Road Atlanta. So the one thing I would like to do, we do have a spare. I have a spare transmission down here. I would like to re-gear that and give us a little more in 3, 4, and 5. Just a little more, just a couple more miles an hour. Nothing too huge. Sorry, the wheels and tires. Wheels are 949 Racing 6 ULs. They're 15 by 8, and this set is powder coated black. We have another set that's actually in the trailer, and the fun part is the same wheels and tires as the Miata. So we can swap. When this goes to the track, the Miata goes up on jack stands. We take the wheels and tires off and put them in the trailer. So we have 4 sets of tires. We have a set of rains, and then we have 3 dries, and that works out really well. Because if we want to take the Miata to the track instead of this, we can pop the Continentals off this, put them on the Miata, and the Miata's great at the track then. So it's nice to have that versatility where these wheels and tires swap over to the other car. Let's see what else. You can tell by the stickers on the windshield. We've done a whole bunch of races. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's actually 8 in total. We're missing 1 sticker. So we've done 8 races with this car over the course of 5 years, and it's an absolute blast to drive. Are you going to be going Ariel Atom quick? Nope. Are you going to be quicker than the Miata? Oh yeah. So, you have to kind of tone your expectations to the level of what the car is capable of. The really nice thing is, like I said, for rookies, you figure it out within 2 laps. You know where to shift, you know where to brake. Also, when I drove this in here tonight, the clutch engages. You have an eighth of an inch of pedal travel before full clutch engagement. Like, ding, it grabs so quickly. That's great at the track, but it's a little hard, moving around the driveway and pulling into the shop. You're just like, oh God, it grabs you very quick. So yeah, I'll zoom in a little bit, and I'll bring you guys in. We'll take a look at. I'll show you the frunk first. We'll do the interior, and then I'll show you the engine bay. And give me a second to pop the frunk. Wait, where's the lever? There it is. And I just got the new insurance card. That's what's on the windshield. I got to put the insurance card on there. So I'll bring you guys in here if he'll roll. We can take a look at the frunk. I'll show you some of the stuff we've done in here. We did replace the radiator with an OEM aluminum radiator. The difference is the original was not aluminum, and it was a single core. This is a dual core. So we actually didn't get penalized for this, which is really nice. The OEM radiator, okay, but this was about $100 cheaper, and it's a dual core versus a single core. We still run OEM fans, and we have all of our heater controls here for, it doesn't really blow any cold air, but it does blow hot air. And we also have a full defrost system because sometimes it gets cold at the track and you got to clean the windshield off. We have, our battery is now mounted up front here, and you can see the battery maintainer is over there. We have a new, Brian just installed these, Brian DePaul, a new brake master cylinder, and this is our clutch, which we just bled. Brian also added a brake bias system because we did big brakes on the back. So now we have big brakes up front, big brakes in the back, and we have this kick-ass bias system that Brian dialed in. DePaul did a great job with this. Super simple setup. We just made a little bracket that mounts to the original distro bracket, and you can now send more to the back or more to the front, more to the back or less to the back. It doesn't go both ways. It only goes the one way. We have BC coils on all 4 corners. That was after years of racing and seeing all the other MR2s are running full coilovers, and we still had the stock suspension. I was like, what the hell? So we added BC coils. These have been great. Again, DePaul really dialed these in. He took this to Mid-Ohio one weekend, and got these set up really well. And when we were at pit race, we did a little more tweaking. Perfect. These are very, very well set up. We've removed all the liner stuff. Obviously, the nice comfy stuff and the spare's not in here anymore. We did keep the strut tower bar. That was an option on some of the cars, and this car it came with, so we kept that part. Again, this is the red hood. If you look, some of the stuff, like the sticker behind here, you can see is still red. We kept a lot of this stuff, you know, whatever we could. So that's the frunk. There's really not much in here. It's super lightweight up here. Our battery is a regular AGM, Duracell AGM, and I believe it's a Group 26. So let me bring you guys over here. We're going to the interior of the car. Let me move this lift arm, get you guys closer. I'm going to go grab my Rockstar, which, by the way, they haven't sponsored any of this. That's the good stuff. So I'm going to grab the camera. I'm going to go handheld here for a sec. Of course, you should tangle up in there. So we're obviously on the passenger side, and we don't have a passenger seat in here, but we can add one. And since we did the big brake kit, we don't have a parking brake. So this is our parking brake. This is our fire suppression system. We have to get that done every couple of years. It has to get certified and checked out. And you can see our roll cage here. I mean, roll cage guy did an absolutely awesome job with this roll cage. And these gussets right here, he didn't have to do those. He just included it. And we have a NASCAR style door bar on the driver's side. And then on the passenger side here, we have the Porsche style X brace. Underneath here, you can see our computer for our live streaming. You can also see our HVAC, which I completely pulled apart, resealed, painted, put back together. There's our oil pressure, oil temp, and our fire pole. There's also our heater controls. And then this, sorry, I'm trying to reach here. This is our power. That little Velcro thing right there is where our hotspot attaches. This is our timer up on the roll bar. He's magnetic. I'm going to reach in here. He's got a couple of magnets on the back. We set the timer for, usually we set it for 1 hour. And then when the timer goes dark, you can come in, or you can come in before then, whatever. Big thing for me was to have the clock, the OEM clock. I don't know why. It was just a weird thing for me. There's our dash. We have actually have a fully digital dash. Let's see how close I can get to it. And that's actually a 7-inch touch screen right there. And we have a removable steering wheel from NRG. The steering wheel was actually a gift from Craig Reed. Gave us a very, very nice Momo steering wheel. We have a cover on it when it's in the shop or getting trailered. So we have this really nice, beautiful steering wheel. Shifter knob, I thought would be fun to, that's a little bright. Let me dial this down. There you go. Now you can see it. It's in kanji, however you want to say it. We are going to take out the parking brake for the next event. We don't need the parking brake handle in there, and we'll take all the weight we can get. Again, this is the race quip seat. This will not be in for the next event. We'll probably keep the belts. The belts were actually very nice. We have new belts in this, so we'll keep the belts, but the seat is going to go. Sorry, not working for us. What else do we have? We have a big convex mirror up here that really helps us see. We don't have a lot of view out the back window, but And that's the other thing. The back window is Lexan, and the front window is glass. That's OEM front window. Here you can see our live streaming camera, professionally installed with a couple of zip ties. And that's the one that looks over at the driver. I'll give you the perspective. It's kind of like that. If you've watched any of the live streams, it's actually not. This camera doesn't go very wide. So the other camera is a lot wider and you get to see more. So it's kind of like that. And what else? I think that's about it. Here's the part that really freaks people out. And I'm going to turn the light up a little. See that little plug down here? This little guy dangling? That is OBD2. That is OBD2 on a 1987 car. Why won't you focus? Come on, focus. Please focus a little. There you go. That is OBD2 on a 1987 car, a decade before it was required. Yeah. Oh, and these are our switches for the fog lights. Yellow for the yellow lights, the other one on the other side. And Devin, our electronics guru, he made these 3D printed these gauge pods. They look right at you, which is great. You can just peek over there. Our wipers work, our headlights work, our turn signals work. Everything works on the steering column. Yeah, it still has tilt and it still has power mirrors. So we kept as much OEM stuff on here as possible. The mirrors actually fold in too. So these are still the OEM mirrors. It was our best option for everything on the door. The doors sound really hollow because there's not much on them. So put you guys back up on the laptop and we'll go over to the back of the car. So now you got a good shot of the interior. You can see how nice this roll cage is. It was very difficult to put it in. We had it lifted up on the lift and then we set it in the car and we actually had to flex it. We had to flex it in some spots and out in the other. So we used a porta power to push out. We used straps to pull it in just to make sure that everything got angled and put in the right place. So that roll cage, by the way, if you're curious, roll cages are anywhere between about 120 and 150 pounds, depending on material and how much stuff you put in there. They can go up to 200 pounds. So if you're trying to get stuff out of your car, trying to get weight out, roll cage is going to cost you. So now we come to the back of the car. Here's some fun stuff. And you can still see the roll cage over here, which is cool. And these side windows are also, and these are rivets that hold these in, black rivets. Just to save a little bit of weight. But how good is the roof install? Now, this is the first time I'd ever done a chop top, and Brian did the welding on it. It came out great. It is so tight that we could barely get this flexible Lexan in here. That was the trick when people were stealing and breaking into Miatas or into MR2s. You could just push this in. That's how you get in. The seal was really soft, and you could just push in the glass and then open the door. But this, you can't even push this Lexan in. You could probably kick it in, but you probably break the Lexan. You can see one of our other cameras back here. This is our rear camera, professionally taped in place. And I'll pull this up for you guys. Oh, of course he's caught. So this is our 1MZ, and that's our hood holder opener. This is a Toyota 1MZ out of a 2000 Solara. This had 205,000 miles, 204,000 miles on it. And we used a bunch of the parts from I don't know why there's a leaf in here. From the previous build, from the yellow block, the plenum, the intake, the fuel rails, the valve covers, the throttle body, a bunch of the other parts came onto this new engine. The new engine runs great. It has amazing compression. And this is how this fits in here. Now, these engine mounts that I was talking about over here, the one down below up front, the one down below in the back, and the one over on this side, absolutely fantastic. Chris and Joey and that other guy, they did a great job. This one mounts the transaxle. And when we got the impact back here, you can see where this got a little bit of paint or Cerakote scratch, excuse me, Cerakote scratch here and here. These mounts held up just fine. It was amazing. The one engine mount that broke was up there, and it's the OEM one that's right in front of the water pump. It was just cast aluminum and it just snapped. We did change for legal reasons. It used to say 4AGE here, so now it says 1MZ-FE, just in case we ever get in trouble. The one thing we did different than a lot of the other folks do is we have our shifter cables. A lot of guys run the shifter cables around the engine, or they come in this way and they do it backwards. They drill out the transaxle and do it backwards. So what we did, we got really long shifter cables. They come straight back over the trans tunnel, just like you saw, and they come up over the engine and down through this little gap in the plenum, and that's where they make their turn. And then there's a bracket. We did new brackets on the transaxle where the cables are very happy. They're still, I don't want to say loose, but they're still happy, and there's free movement and everything's great. This guy is our throttle cable, and he's previously bent because he was in a 4AGE. So we kept the same throttle cable. We just use a different throttle body on a different engine. This thing is absolutely great. We also, this is where the battery originally was. We have the original electronic stuff that we're not using is just left unplugged and capped. The absolutely amazing part on this, and you're not going to see this anywhere else, is this car is fully OBD2. We changed it. We did the whole wiring for literally for everything. So all of the wiring for the engine and all the controls for the car, the lighting, everything else is still, this car thinks it's a Camry. That's the fun part. Let me grab a key so we can get in the trunk, the actual trunk, and I'll kind of show you what I mean. Originally, I didn't want to run the rear wing. I like the Ferrari Testarossa look, but I got outvoted. Somehow I got outvoted on my own car. Everyone loved the rear wing. So I'll swing you guys around a little more, take a look at the trunk. Obviously all the carpet and everything is gone out of there. But what you can see down there, this is our ECU. And this is an original Toyota 1MZ ECU. Did a ton of adaptive wiring all through here. This obviously is getting new cover on it. And there's some stuff that's not plugged in, like over here. This is for the automatic transmission. There's a lot of stuff here for like AC and automatic transmission stuff that just never got plugged in. Sorry, you guys can't see what I'm doing here. So hang on a sec. There we go. This is the stuff. These plugs, not used. You know, they have different wire harnesses, or they use the same wire harness for different vehicles. Now, here's a fun one. You guys are going to love this. And I love this about the MR2. This is so comedic. All right, so I'm going to pull back a little bit so you can see. All right, so what happens is air gets sucked in through the vent here. It travels through the fender into a little plastic tube back here. You can hear the plastic tube, and then it runs all the way along the length of the rear, and it comes over here to our air filter. Air gets filtered, and then it goes here into the engine bay, which then goes in and up and in again to the throttle body. That is the entire traveling of air path. It goes literally from one side of the car all the way across the back into here. It's amazing, but it actually works. It works really well. The hard part was getting this tow hook back up after the incident, but it all worked. We actually have 4 brake lights on here. We have the 2 regular, we have our 3rd brake light here, and then we still have our original brake light up here, which is kind of amusing. So we have a lot of brake lights. There's no reason to hit us. We kept the original tow hooks. This rear bumper is actually off the red car as well. The white, no, sorry, this is the original white bumper off the white car. Sorry. The red car, the bumper was, the impact bar was destroyed. So we're using the impact bar from the red car. The plate was kind of humor from my friend Clay. I was actually at BMV and I told him I was thinking about a custom plate, and he said, well, you got a mid-engine car, you should do C8 LOL. And the Corvette guys will love you. They don't love us, but it is funny as hell. So I think it's funny as hell. I enjoy it. What else? And we've had a great Corvette theme on this. We had a Chinese prototype C8 theme for this car, which was very, very funny. It was very popular. A lot of stuff we've taken off the car. There's a lot of trim pieces. This that goes up here, and then some people have this really cool rear spoiler that's very coveted and very expensive. Trim pieces are off. Some of the trim pieces we did keep. This car originally had a sunroof. That got filled in. It's a welded panel in now. And let's see what else. Oh, we do have some body moldings from the GT, because the original car was a GT. And it does have side skirts that we could put on the car, but they're red. And so we just haven't done that. It just adds weight. It looks really cool, but it adds a bunch of weight. So that's why we haven't done that yet. So I'm going to swing you guys back here. Let me get this cord out of the way. There we go. Now we got a clean bill of travel. You can get kind of a, I know the lift's in the way. Sorry. That wasn't my plan. That's actually a pretty good shot of the car. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, cool. So, and then I'll have to tilt up so that I can be in the shot. Well, let me scoot this back just a little bit more. I had so many cords here. I have to keep them all out of the way. Otherwise, you're just trying to run us. It looks like a Vector W2, doesn't it? No, it doesn't, I guess. Yeah, all right, whatever. The front air dam, I'll tell you guys, this one's really funny. I looked for an air dam, and there's a whole bunch of really cool kits out there. A lot of them are from Japan. There's actually, there's a kit for the Miata to make it look like a Viper, which is hysterical to me. That's funny as hell. But there was a kit in Japan that had this really kick-ass front spoiler, front air dam. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And it was only like, I don't know, it was only like $300. And then it was over $1,000 to ship it. I was like, nope. So I went on eBay. I got a Chevy S10 front air dam. I flipped it over, painted it white, and screwed it on. It actually fits, the fog lights fit in it perfectly. So that is a $50 front air dam from a Chevy S10. Not bad. And if it gets broken or whatever, I'm okay with that. It doesn't hurt me too much. So mm. And it actually works really well. We're trying to keep stuff out from underneath the car because we're trying to protect the engine and we're trying to protect us too when we're driving because we don't want stuff blowing up. So the air is definitely a bonus, but it's more about protecting. When you're at the track, there's so much crap that comes up on your car. Um, when with the neon, it's amazing how much rubber comes up. We're not allowed to run full slicks in lemons, but when you run full slicks, the marbles and stuff that come up, they're hot, and it's like someone shooting hot rubber at you. It gets on the windshield. It's a pain. If you turn on the wipers, it just smears a big black streak across. It's awful. So in lemons, you have to run 200 treadwear or harder. Most guys run 200 treadwear, but the air dam keeps the rocks, the debris, the random crankshaft that fell out of the PT Cruiser in front of you. It keeps that stuff away from the radiator, the coolant lines. The coolant lines run the length of the car. Since our radiator's up front, the coolant lines run the center of the car all the way to the back to the engine and circulate and then come all the way back here. So you want to protect the coolant. Our gas tank, the fuel tank is actually in the center of the car, which is really nice. It really helps with balance because even though you're losing, weight, it stays in the center where you're losing weight. It's not at the back or not at the front. So your driving is going to remain the same even though you're using gas. This car is incredibly fuel efficient considering that we're running it at 6,000 RPMs all day. The V6 is actually really great. So no complaints about that. Our only complaint would be the oiling. Now, again, this is a commuter car engine. It's designed for commuter cars. It is not designed for racing in any way. The oil galleys are so small in that engine. A little bit of dirt can clog it up. And very few people take care of their Camrys or take care of their Solaras. So when you get 100,000 miles on it, it's usually it's like brownie mix. So those engines aren't very good because you got to spend a lot of time cycling super clean oil through there to clean them out. It's very expensive and it's not really worth it. So when you find an engine that does have really nice clean oil, not a ton of crap in the oil pan, and has really good compression, that's a good score. That means someone took care of this engine. Someone really took care of this engine. There was actually Toyota stickers from when they changed the timing belt and water pump. So we knew that they had just done it at 199. So we have new timing belt, new water pump. This engine's in great shape. We really only had to do external stuff. We didn't have to do any short block stuff, which was really nice. So that's the basics on the MR6. We decided on the MR6 name. MR2 actually stands for midship runabout second generation, or second design generation. Midship is where the engine is mounted. That's a Japanese term for where the engine's mounted. And runabout refers to two doors, two-seater. And 2 is the second design version. So I've never seen an MR1. I don't know what an MR1 looks like, but that's where the name MR2 comes from. So since we put a V6 in it, we decided to call it the MR6. That's it. We didn't have anything. We kept it midship. We kept it runabout. The only thing we changed was the engine. So we changed the 6. I guess we could call it M6R2. That sounds like a Star Wars character, so we're not going to do that. This car will continue racing in lemons. We'll continue doing autocrosses in this car. We'll continue, whatever events we can find for this, we're going to race in it. It's that durable. It's that reliable. And the spares we have for it, like I have a whole rack of spares. I have body parts. I have extra heads up there. I have a full suspension front and rear. So I have a ton of spares for this car, which is really nice. Um, we have tons of wheels and tires, stuff like that, so we can run this car a lot and not have to worry too much about it. I have full exhaust here. I will have a spare transmission. I just need to get those gears done. And yeah, it's one of those things to have. This is, your reliable fun car, and you can go out and you can have a great time in it. That's what you really want. If you want to spend $2 million and get a Koenigsegg, you're gonna have a good time in it too. But yeah, this is, you know 20, 25 grand, um, over the course of a few years. It's worth it. It's a lot of fun. Um, so yeah, highly recommended. Also, just as a little bonus for everyone that's watching, if you want to come racing with us, shoot me a message. We love having rookies when we go to Lemons events, and that's to get people into racing. And Lemons is a very safe, very fun way to do it. The people are super cool. The barbecue is incredible. All the stuff in the paddock, it's amazing. But it's very safe and it's a lot of fun, and it's a great place to get addicted to wheel racing. It's not terribly expensive compared to, if you're going to go race in, Blancpain or any of those series, you're looking at a $50,000 weekend. To race the Lemons car, you're looking at about $1,000 for the weekend per person. So it's not terrible. And the, you know, the experience you get out of it, you can't put a price on it. We've got some great video. One of our rookies, John, was out in this car at pit race, and he was terrified, absolutely terrified to go out on track. He was a big straight line guy, did a ton of drag racing, and he spent a lot of time in Mexico doing street racing down there where it's legal. And he'd never been on a road course before. He'd done one autocross, and John put on a helmet, put on a suit. He went out there, and he was terrified. The first lap, the second lap, super comfortable. Third lap, he's shifting like a boss, and he's absolutely owning it. So it's one of those, you get into it, and now John is always on the list when I send the notes out. Hey, if you guys want to come racing with us, and John's one of the top guys. So our last event, we had Taryn, who's a total rookie on track, and he did great. After he spun out twice, he did great. So yeah, Taryn was great. Dakota was a rookie. He'd done a bunch of autocross, but he'd never done wheel-to-wheel stuff, and he did great. And he's one of our regulars now too. Brian DePaul had never done any racing a couple of years ago. He'd done just a pant load of autocrosses, and now he's a regular as well. So it's one of those. This is a great car to learn in. You're super safe. You have, the folks at Lemons are great. All their staff is awesome. The tracks we race at, their crews are great. Their fire crews, their ambulance crews, the flag people, everyone is awesome. So it's a lot of fun to do it. Even when you screw up and go off track, you come in, they're gonna chastise you, and then it'll be kind of funny. Whatever happens will be kind of funny, but you definitely remember it, and it's a lot of fun. We have a great time with it. So if you'd like to do that, whether you want to crew with us or come out and spectate, like I've done before, and it's great because I've had people take me up on this. I've had a bunch of people. If you want to come out and just watch, you don't have to crew for us or drive or anything else. I'll pay for your spectator fee. So if you want, and you don't have to just hear for us or anything like that, go walk around the paddock, talk with the other people, check out the other creations. I would say race cars, but they're definitely creations. You see a half Chevy Corvette and half Toyota Corolla put together. That's a creation. They call it the Toyota, but it's amazing. There's stuff like that. So walking around the paddock, you're gonna meet some incredible people, and you're gonna see some amazing ingenuity and people are doing this for the love of racing. So that's a lot of fun, and I'm gonna keep that offer open as long as I can. So whenever we're going to an event, if you want to come spectate, shoot me a message. I will cover your spectator fee. And that's the whole weekend. That's Saturday. I think it's Friday evening when everyone does practice and stuff, and Saturday and Sunday. So shoot me a message. I'll do that. All you have to do is get your ass to the track. That's not too hard, right? Um, and if you want to come racing with us, again, shoot me a message. I'd love to talk to you, and we'll figure it out. It is a lot of fun. We're going to be doing one of the other race cars probably tomorrow. No, sorry, tomorrow we have a special live stream, and yeah, it'll be different. But on Wednesday, I'll have the other race car in here. I'll have the Monza in here, and we'll go through that. And again, I just bought that car. I don't know anything about it. I haven't driven it yet. I drove it out of here to park it and put the car cover on it. So I'm still learning on that car. But we'll have it in here and we'll learn together. That'll be Wednesday night. But tomorrow night we're going to do some fun Miata stuff and fun 1MZ stuff. Oh, there's messages popping up here. What do we got? It's an MR2 with a bad attitude. That is correct. Race cars with wooden dog boxes. There was a whole Peanuts theme, and they did have the dog house on top with Snoopy that eventually came off after a couple of laps. It liberated itself. That's what happens. There's a lot of stuff that people put on top of cars that yeets itself within a first, couple of laps. And that's okay. They yellow flag and they clean it up and go back out racing again. So it's fun. But yeah, Lemons is a ton of fun. SCCA and NASA are a little bit more serious, a little bit more intense. They'll also be a little faster, but you're not going to have as much fun. Lemons is definitely the most fun you're going to have out there. And same thing, SVRA, very, very serious. There are $1 million cars out there with SVRA. And SVRA has very strict rules. If you touch, it's 13 months or 13 events, whichever's longer. And that's if your back end comes out a little bit and you barely touch the paint of the other car, 13 events or 13 months, whichever's longer. That's the rule. They're very serious about that because you have, cars like this, 20, 30, even if you have $50,000, $60,000 cars, you have $1 million, 935 K3s out there. So they don't want anybody touching anyone else. If you're going to beer can a car, you're going to do it yourself. So I understand what they're talking about. But it's also very expensive to run an SVRA, but it's a ton of fun. You're racing some very, very serious cars, not like in Lemons where you have, like I said, a PT Cruiser with 4 eBay turbos on it. Where the hell else? You're not seeing that at SVRA. You're not seeing that in SCCA. Sorry, it's not going to happen. But you will see it at Lemons. You might actually see 2 of them, which is scary. What else we got? Oh, okay, that's it. I thought I saw another message pop up. So yeah, like I said, you guys are welcome to join us. Tomorrow we'll do some fun stuff with Miatas. Dakota bought a Miata. We're going to do some inspection. And I think we're going to take an engine apart tomorrow. So you guys will do a live stream with that. It'll be a lot earlier because those guys are coming over, I think, 7 or 8. So the stream will be earlier. It'll probably might be like 9 or 10. We have to go through Dakota's car, but it'll definitely be earlier than it was tonight. And it'll be a little different. It'll be a lot more technical. We'll be taking an engine apart, which is not as much fun as you think. And then Wednesday, I'll bring the Monza in here and we'll go through the Monza. And that'll be the cars that I have here in Ohio. So thanks, everyone, for hanging out tonight. I really appreciate it. You guys are great. And thanks to all the new subscribers. I'm glad you guys are enjoying these cars. If there's something you guys want to see either here or in Florida, let me know and I'll try and get it on the live stream here. And we'll try and go through it and find all the cool stuff with it. If you guys want to see more live streaming, like me in motion, driving somewhere, let me know. What you guys want to see is what I want to deliver. So like with this car, when we live stream on the channel here, we're at the race. You guys love that stuff. And we want to do more of it. So we'll definitely be doing more of that. We're going to make sure the cameras work. The front camera up here gets destroyed almost every race. Um, so we'll do more of that, and we'll get you guys, in the car so you can see how much fun it is, and um, hopefully you join us, or build your own team, build your own Lemons car, and come out. Love to see you out on track. Yeah, that's absolutely love it. It's fun. You want to see something crazy? Watch a rolling start with 110, 115 ship boxes. Watch that. Saturday's start is unbelievable. And then in the first 5 laps, you have massive attrition, 40% attrition. This is basically tow trucks coming around to pick up debris and cars. Yeah. So it's a ton of fun. I promise Lemons is a lot of fun. You have a good time with it. So yeah, that's about it for tonight. I appreciate you guys hanging out. And again, thanks to all the new subscribers. You guys are great. I'm glad you're liking what I'm doing here. There's no editing, there's no bullshit, there's no, this is all straight. So hopefully I'm doing okay. I'm trying to do it a little different than what the other guys do, but always looking to improve and always looking to have more fun, especially with the cars. So if you have ideas, suggestions, shoot me a message. I appreciate it. Don't forget to show someone you love them today. Give them a kiss on the cheek. Give them a kiss on the tip of their nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's really important for them, but it is far more important for you. All right. Thanks, everyone. We will catch you tomorrow night. Take an engine apart. That'll be fun. Look at that. It looks like a Vector. It looks like a Vector W2, doesn't it? I guess I'll have to look that one up. No, it doesn't look like a Vector.